Nah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Kendrick and TDE might have been playing 4D chess this whole time. I'm not even talking about the battle. I'm talking about like back in 2012, 2015. Like they might have had this whole thing lined up since then, bro. Since they recognized that it was going to be a potential back and forth between them and Drake, I genuinely think that that became part of their overall plan. Like real talk. I think they had so much confidence that Kendrick was going to cook that it was a part of their whole plan. And I'm gonna break this down, bro. So with what we just found out, right? Drake has been in a bad situation with Lucian Grainge. You see what I'm saying? And obviously not a bad situation in terms of just a bad situation in terms of where he is in his career or where he's supposed to be in his career. You see what I'm saying? And we just found this out. And you would think that Drake was in a different position than he was before, because we all knew about the bad contracts. Pusha T had a whole track about it. You see what I'm saying? We all knew Young Money and all of them was in bad situations. But this was supposed to be the point where Drake wasn't in that situation no more. At least that's how they've been perceiving or trying to make Drake be perceived. You see what I'm saying? They've been painting Drake in this light where he's figured it out, or he's on this, you know what I'm saying? He got his all the shit in order. You feel me? And you see this a lot when they start having conversations about Drake and Jay-Z. But in reality, Lucian Grainge and Drake's relationship makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense. Especially when you figure out that, or when you remember that Lucian Grainge is bragging about saying, I will give Drake whatever budget he wants for a project. And then Drake is then getting on songs and bragging about his relationship with Lucian Grainge. Like, he's appearing very powerful within that dynamic, as if it's like an even exchange. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people started to perceive it that way. And maybe even some of Drake's enemies started to perceive it that way. You feel me? But we now know that was all a facade. And in reality, the main reason Lucian Grainge would be giving Drake whatever budget he wants is because he's going to benefit from 90% of it. Why wouldn't I give you whatever budget you possibly could ask for if I'm going to benefit from the absolute majority of it? And when you find this out and you use that, you realize a lot of things in the past look way different. And the main thing I want to talk about is For Sale. Okay? This song right here may have actually gone down. This song in time is going to go down as one of the most, like, I don't even know how to put it. I don't want to say prolific, but kind of. You feel me? So on the surface, this song comes off as, you know what I'm saying, a song about Lucifer, a song about the devil. Even right here, you know what I'm saying, it says this song offers a deeper insight into the previously introduced figure of Lucy, right? And even when I first heard it, that's when I came away with it. I thought he was talking about the devil and boom, boom. But I'm pretty sure by now, most of us have come to the conclusion that he's talking about Lucian Grainge, right? So if you have come to that conclusion, which I feel like most people have, and then we'll find out that Drake is actually in a terrible contract right now, and then you compare when Kendrick decided to get involved with Lucian Grainge and when Drake decided to get involved with Lucian Grainge, it's very interesting. So let's take a look at these lyrics in verse 2. He said, my name is Lucy, Kendrick. You introduced me, Kendrick. Usually I don't do this, but I see you in me, Kendrick. Lucy give you no worries. Lucy got million stories about these rappers that I came after when they was boring. So when you look at it from the perspective of, this is not the devil per se, or you could say metaphorically because, but this is Lucian Grainge, it changes the idea of the verse, of course. But now we can break this down differently, right? So when he says about these rappers that I came after when they was boring, now that we know around the time that Drake got that $400 million deal with UMG, right? which some people are saying he sold he was selling things to UMG, selling publishing and stuff to UMG, or selling to end up to getting that money like how Wayne did. I don't know if that's true or not, so take that with a grain of salt. But that's what I've seen some people say. But when you look at it from that perspective, right? This is right around the time Drake ends up signing that. This is right around the time where those allegations and all this different stuff are starting to build, right? Before the battle, by the way. They try to make it seem like they didn't happen until the battle. But these allegations and all this different stuff and all this weird behavior starts showing up, right? And he's able to drop a song. When he signs that deal, or when he's able to drop songs that distract people from the situation, like or before he signed a deal, Tootsie Slide, right? Which is what Kendrick was talking about. He was able to drown the allegations because he dropped Tootsie Slide, and there was a whole lot of push and amplification of it. Like, it was like crazy. It was everywhere, right? And when you look at it from that perspective, if that's inflated and that's not reality, right? Once he starts to come back down, he's got to re-sign again, or he's got to put himself back in position again, and to continue to drown the narratives and drown the allegations and drown all this stuff, right? At that point, you could say this is when Drake got boring. And I feel like a lot of people started disconnecting with the music early, but the relationship and the need to keep him afloat allowed them to inflate his stats, inflate what he had going on, which is why he has so many allegations of bots for everybody else, right? And Lucy is basically talking to Kendrick and saying, eventually you gonna come rock with me. When you start boom boom or whatever, you gonna come rock with me. You gonna come rock with me, so it's all good, right? But I don't think that Lucian is expecting Kendrick to dominate in the way that he dominated culturally and influence-wise and impact-wise. So he's thinking, like, without me, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do your thing, but you're not going to be able to do what you can really do. You see what I'm saying? But Kendrick ends up doing that, right? And we'll get to what that changes later on. He says, Lucy give you no worries. Lucy got million stories. Lucy gonna fill your pockets. Lucy gonna move your mama out of Compton inside the gigantic mansion like I promised. Lucy just wants your trust and loyalty. Avoiding me is not so easy. I'm at these functions accordingly, which puts it in a more mortal perspective. Like, yes, the devil would be at these functions as well, but at these functions accordingly puts it in a more mortal perspective. You feel me? And then Lucy gonna call you even when Lucy know you love your father. I'm Lucy. Lucy, her prayers on your last album. Truly, Lucy don't mind, because at the end of the day, you'll pursue me, right? Before this information is coming out, I have an interesting perspective about those bars. But now that this information has come out, it's put it in a whole different light, right? Because if Drake was never who we thought he was, then it was always clear as day who was the guy that Lucian Grainge was actually trying to grab. But he had to work with Drake on a different instead, because he wasn't able to get to Kendrick at that time because of contracts or whatever it might have been. It sounds like it because of Kendrick's perspective, and that's all theory, right? So from that perspective, you then learn that Kendrick Lamar, from that point, drops a couple classic albums. He got To Pimp a Butterfly, which is what this album's on. Damn, which is does it commercially crazy. Humble is Double Diamond. Boom, 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 boom. Even Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers granted him a worldwide tour. You see what I'm saying? That don't happen just for anybody. Kendrick Lamar is upper echelon, right? So when he pulls up to negotiate with Lucian now, it's a whole different conversation than it would have been if he had rocked with Lucian then. And that's honestly the difference in their careers. And when you look back on Buried Alive, it seems like Kendrick was really kind of paralleling the two. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think it was with ill intention at the time, but that seems like that's kind of what he was doing. So that when it's all said and done, and we look at the past, we see which artists who are coming up would see which path they would rather truly go on. And that's just what my perspective. But because Kendrick took his time, did his work, did what he was supposed to do, got the label situated, and then went in signed a publishing deal with UMG. I'm pretty sure it's a publishing deal. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But then went to go sign that with UMG. He's now putting himself in position to where everything he's about to put out, he now owns. So it's very possible that TDE and Kendrick Lamar obviously knew they could click Drake whenever they felt like it. There was never going to be a point where Drake was going to be able to genuinely beat Kendrick Lamar in a battle. There was never going to be that point. Kendrick always had the culture on his side. Drake did not because of the decisions that they made. But Kendrick was also able to have that popular influence as well. So because of this, Kendrick is in a position where they can save the battle for later. Why have the battle now? You know, Drake is taunting him, thinking he can bait him into a battle and then silence him. Why wait for the battle? Why do the battle now when we can wait till you get out your deal, right? Wait till you're no longer on TDE. Separate yourself, you know. Get the PG Lane situation going. Build up the catalog, right? And then go knock Drake head off. And that's what I genuinely think they did, because you got to think about it. He owns the diss tracks, right? And he owns GNX. And GNX is one of the most commercially successful albums of all time. We're talking about an album that's connected to the Super Bowl, an album that's connected to the Pop-Out, an album that's connected to a worldwide stadium tour. And that's the first album he fully owns. It's genius. It's genius. They waited and said, you know what? We gonna click Drake when it's time. We gonna make defeating Drake a part of the business plan. And first of all, they had a certain level of confidence to where, if you really think about it, it is a gamble because of Drake's relationships and his lineage. It was a gamble. But they were so confident in it, it's crazy. They were so confident they made that a part of the business plan. And that's genuinely how I feel. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Because if you wait for the battle, it's obvious. These are two, whether Drake's is manufactured or not, these are two very huge hip-hop artists. And Drake's not a hip-hop artist, but that's the perception. But he's crossed over into pop as well. So these two, it was always going to be a mega battle, and whoever won that mega battle was going to be able to take advantage. Drake also wanted to take advantage. He wanted to clip Kendrick and then renegotiate. So they both knew what this was going to be. But I think Kendrick's preparation in comparison to Drake's preparation was a whole lot different. Because now Kendrick is dominating, but the things that he's dominating with are his. And I think they knew that. I think they knew that's what the game plan was going to be. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And they had the utmost confidence to say, we know that Kendrick can whoop him so much. We so confident in that we going to take that opportunity and build on it. And build on it. And that's exactly what they did. And Drake would have did the same thing. But I think Drake's would have been still attached to, I don't think he would have had as much ownership in his situation. Or even I don't think he would have been able to do a Super Bowl and boom, 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 and all that different stuff. You see what I'm saying? I think he could have done it, but I don't think it would have been on the same, I don't think the influence isn't genuinely there, in my opinion. So, from that perspective, I genuinely think Kendrick Lamar, TDE, built the whole foundation, built Kendrick up, and did it correctly, right? Took their time and all that to the point of a megastar And then he went and negotiated with UMG. You see what I'm saying? And it put a whole different, like the fact that they couldn't censor him, it says a lot. It says a lot. I wonder if that was a part of the contract. I wonder if that was the part of the contract. Like, you can't censor nothing I gotta say or nothing I want to say. It's up to, like, I wonder if that's what it was. Because how do you get Meet the Grams 30 minutes after that if they can censor you? And then not like us the next day? No, bro. I really think Kendrick and TDE was playing 4D motherfucking chess, bro. And they clipped Drake, you know, just like Drake was playing and they clipped them in advance. They clipped Drake in advance and then are running with it. They're running with it. They're running with it. And it's incredible. Now everybody eating. TDE eating. TDE on the world tour. You about to see Schoolboy Q and Doechii. Doechii a superstar. SZA a mega star. Like, it's like, bro, they really ran this shit down, bro. They ran this shit down. And I think this run gonna keep going for a minute. It was genius. It was genius. But all right, I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think about this. You know what I'm saying? I really think this is true. You feel me? But let me know what y'all think in the comments if y'all agree or not. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you've been here, especially if you've been watching, especially if you new, all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. If you ain't seen the Chains and Wits freestyle, check that out. I think you would love it because the people love it. You see what I'm saying? Love y'all. I'm going to rock with y'all.